Tyler finally stepped off the bus in front of the hospital, and an icy chill ran up his spine. The tall, imposing building loomed larger than he remembered, as if it were alive, ready to swallow anyone who dared question what happened within its walls. He clenched his fists, steeling himself. There's no turning back now. I need to do this, no matter what happens. He entered through the reception area and approached the counter where a woman in a white coat was typing something on her computer. For a moment, Tyler hesitated, then pulled Derek's photo from his pocket and placed it gently on the counter. "Excuse me," he said, his voice steady despite the nerves twisting inside him. "I need to see this man. He's admitted here, right?" The receptionist raised her eyes, frowning at the sight of such a young boy alone asking about a patient. Her gaze shifted from curiosity to suspicion in seconds. "Who are you?" "Only family members can visit admitted patients." Tyler felt a knot tighten in his throat. He had expected this response, but hearing the words aloud made the reality hit harder. Before he could think of an excuse, familiar voices echoed from the hospital entrance. His heart skipped a beat as he turned and saw Lauren and Gregory walking in together. Gregory carried a sleek briefcase, while Lauren's sharp gaze scanned the room with calculating precision. Tyler shrank back instinctively, trying to blend into the shadows, but before he could fully retreat, Lauren stopped beside Gregory and said something that froze the blood in Tyler's veins. "This treatment has taken longer than it should. We need to speed things up so he doesn't have time to react. Understand?" Gregory let out a low chuckle, nodding as he gripped the briefcase tighter. "As long as the doctors keep thinking it's the disease weakening him, there's nothing to worry about. But if he shows signs of resistance," he trailed off ominously. "We can resolve it another way." Tyler's skin crawled. They weren't just waiting for Derek to weaken naturally, they were accelerating the process. Watching them head down the corridor toward the patient rooms, Tyler didn't hesitate. Without a second thought, he began following them. The receptionist, noticing the strange movement, glanced sideways and discreetly pressed a button under the counter. Security was alerted, but Tyler was already committed. He needed to reach Derek before it was too late. "I can't let this happen. I need to warn him. I need to stop it." The hospital corridor stretched ahead, silent except for the rhythmic echo of Lauren and Gregory's shoes against the polished floor. Tyler moved cautiously, sticking close to the shadows, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. He didn't know what was inside Gregory's briefcase, but he was certain it couldn't be anything good. Their cold words still reverberated in his mind. The idea of Derek being slowly poisoned made every second feel more urgent. He watched as they entered an empty room, closing the door behind them. Holding his breath, Tyler realized they weren't going to see Derek immediately. They were preparing something first. That meant he still had time. Adrenaline surged through his body as he crept away from the door, trying to ignore the curious glances of nurses passing by in the hallway. He needed to find Derek, fast. Room after room, he peeked inside. Some patients were asleep, others had visitors chatting quietly. But no Derek. With each wrong door, Tyler's anguish grew. If he didn't find him soon, this might be the last chance he'd ever have to save him. "I need to be quick. He can't take those medicines. If he takes them, it will be the end." Time seemed to drag until, turning down a side corridor, Tyler spotted a dimly lit room with the door slightly ajar. His chest tightened as he approached and peered inside. There, lying in bed, was Derek. His eyes were closed, his breathing deep and labored. He looked even weaker than before, his skin pale, almost translucent, as though life itself were slipping away. Without hesitation, Tyler slipped into the room, his voice trembling but urgent. Derek. Don't take the medicine your daughter will give you. His words cut through the silence like thunder. Derek's eyes snapped open, startled by the sudden intrusion. He blinked several times, struggling to sit up slightly, his voice slurred and weak. What are you saying? Who are you? Before Tyler could answer, hurried footsteps echoed in the hallway. Within seconds, guards burst into the room, grabbing Tyler firmly by the arms. He struggled fiercely, kicking and squirming, but it was useless. As they dragged him out, Tyler locked eyes with Derek one last time, desperation etched across his face. Derek, please don't take anything Lauren gives you. She's not taking care of you, she's poisoning you. Tyler's scream echoed down the hall until distance swallowed his voice entirely. Derek stared at the doorway for a long time, his mind foggy but his chest heavy with unease. Who was that boy? What did he mean? He didn't want to believe it, but something about the scene sent chills down his spine. Why would someone break into a hospital just to deliver such a warning? And why had the boy seemed so desperate, so certain? Minutes later, the door opened again, and Lauren entered, carrying a tray with a plate of food and a glass of water. Her face was serene, but for the first time, Derek noticed a forced brightness in her eyes. She walked over to him with a sweet smile, placing the tray on the table beside his bed and smoothing the sheets as she did every night. "Dad," she said softly, her tone dripping with affection, "you really should eat something. You'll feel better." Derek's hand hovered over the glass of water, his mind racing. The boy's frantic warning replayed in his head, mingling with Lauren's practiced kindness. For the first time, doubt crept into his heart. Was this truly care? Or something far darker? Ask, explain. The hospital loomed ahead of Tyler as he stepped off the bus, its towering silhouette casting long shadows across the pavement. A chill ran up his spine, and not just from the biting wind. The building seemed even more imposing now, like a monolith that devoured anyone who dared question what went on inside. He clenched his fists, steeling himself. There was no turning back now. No matter what happened, he had to do this, for Derek. Tyler entered through the sliding glass doors of the reception area, his sneakers squeaking faintly against the polished floor. At the counter, a woman in a crisp white coat typed furiously on her computer, oblivious to his presence. He hesitated for a moment, then pulled Derek's photo from his pocket and placed it gently on the counter. "Excuse me," Tyler said, his voice trembling slightly. "I need to see this man. He's admitted here, right?" The receptionist paused mid-keystroke, raising an eyebrow at the sight of such a young boy standing alone, asking about a patient. Her expression shifted quickly from curiosity to suspicion. "Who are you?" she asked sharply. "Only family members can visit admitted patients." Tyler felt a knot tighten in his throat. He'd anticipated this response, but hearing it aloud made the reality sink in. Getting to Derek wasn't going to be easy. Before he could scramble for an excuse, familiar voices echoed from the entrance behind him. Turning abruptly, his heart sank as he saw Lauren and Gregory walking in together. Gregory carried a sleek black briefcase, while Lauren's gaze swept the room with cold precision. Tyler instinctively shrank back, trying to blend into the background, but before he could fully retreat, Lauren stopped beside Gregory and spoke low enough for Tyler to overhear. "This treatment has taken longer than it should. We need to speed things up so he doesn't have time to react. Understand?" Gregory let out a low chuckle, gripping the briefcase tighter. "As long as the doctors keep thinking it's the disease weakening him, there's nothing to worry about. But if he shows signs of resistance..." His voice trailed off ominously. "We can resolve it another way." Tyler's blood ran cold. They weren't just letting Derek weaken naturally, they were accelerating the process. Watching them head down the corridor toward the patient rooms, Tyler didn't hesitate. Without a second thought, he began following them, keeping close to the walls. The receptionist noticed his erratic movements and frowned, discreetly pressing a button under the counter. Security would be alerted soon, but Tyler couldn't afford to wait. Every second counted. "I can't let this happen," he thought desperately. "I need to warn Derek. I need to stop it." The hospital corridor stretched endlessly, silent except for the rhythmic echo of Lauren and Gregory's footsteps. Tyler moved cautiously, staying in the shadows, his heart pounding like a drum in his ears. Whatever was in that briefcase, it couldn't be good. Lauren's chilling words replayed in his mind, fueling his urgency. If Derek took whatever they planned to give him, it might be too late. He watched as Lauren and Gregory slipped into an empty room, closing the door behind them. Tyler exhaled slowly, realizing they weren't heading straight to Derek's room yet. They were preparing something first, which meant he still had time. Adrenaline surged through him as he backed away from the door, careful to avoid drawing attention from passing nurses. He needed to find Derek, fast. Moving swiftly, he peeked into each room he passed. Some patients slept soundly, others chatted quietly with visitors. But no Derek. With every wrong door, Tyler's panic grew. Time was slipping away. Finally, as he turned down a dimly lit side corridor, he spotted a partially open door. Peering inside, his chest tightened. Derek lay motionless in bed, his skin pale and waxy, his breathing shallow. He looked weaker than ever, almost lifeless. Without hesitation, Tyler slipped into the room, his voice cracking with desperation. "Derek! Don't take the medicine your daughter will give you." Derek's eyes snapped open, startled by the sudden intrusion. He blinked groggily, struggling to sit up. His voice came out slurred, weak. What are you saying? Who are you?" Before Tyler could explain, hurried footsteps thundered down the hallway. Within seconds, security guards burst into the room, grabbing Tyler firmly by the arms. He struggled fiercely, shouting over his shoulder, "Derek, please don't take anything Lauren gives you. She's not taking care of you, she's poisoning you." But his cries were drowned out as the guards dragged him away. Derek stared after the boy, confusion clouding his already foggy mind. That desperate look in Tyler's eyes lingered, a plea, a warning. What had he meant? Why would someone break into a hospital just to say something like that? Minutes later, the door opened again, and Lauren entered, holding a tray with a plate of food and a glass of water. Her smile was serene, practiced, but for the first time, Derek noticed the forced glint in her eyes. She set the tray down beside him, smoothing the sheets with meticulous care. "Dad," she began sweetly, "you really need to eat something. You'll feel better." Derek hesitated, staring at the glass of water. The boy's words echoed in his mind, "She's poisoning you." For the first time since waking up in the hospital, doubt crept in. Was it possible? Could Lauren, the daughter he trusted, be capable of such betrayal? Lauren tilted her head, her smile faltering slightly. "Is something wrong, Dad? You look troubled." Derek forced a weak smile, buying himself time. "No, nothing. Just tired." But as she turned to adjust the four-drip, his hand trembled as he reached for the glass. The weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on his chest. If the boy was lying, why did his warning feel so real? And if he wasn't? Then Derek was running out of time to figure out the truth. Explain.